Hey folks, this is Kalani. Going to give you a little bit of a gearing guide for a freshly dinged level 90. Now this is obviously useful for any alts which you need to gear, or if you perhaps came back from a previous raid or previous expansion and don't quite have the gear to get into Siege of Orgrimmar looking for raid. That's going to be our target. Our goal from this guide is to get at least 496 in item level so you can go into Siege of Orgrimmar so you can stack up that gear to continue your raiding. So, first things first, the Timeless Isle. Now, you may have heard various things about the Timeless Isle, but it's still the most efficient way to gear up one of your alts, or if you've just dinged 90, because, simply put, there's no restriction on when you can go. As long as you're level 90, you'll get a quest to talk to Chromie. Go ahead and she'll teleport you over to the Timeless Isle. Now, if you don't want to do that quest, for whatever reason, or you just want to know where it is, on the map, right to the right-hand side, past the Jade Forest, is the Timeless Isle. Little island, but lots of loot. So let's head on over there. So, welcome to the Timeless Isle. Now, if you've never been here before, it's pretty much a loot pinata. So, chests are scattered all over the island, and you can loot them and get a chance for 496 armor tokens. Now, bear in mind that it's random, whether you get an armor token, and the armor token is random in itself. So, while it can be the most efficient way to gear up, it can also be the most frustrating, because the gear isn't guaranteed at all, and you may end up with 20 headpieces, and obviously only one head to use. So, the first thing that I'd like to say is that the accessibility, while having no level restriction, may still be somewhat limited on your realm. This is mainly because of faction imbalances. Now, if you look, I'm on Kil'jaeden. This is a Horde server, so if we swap on over to the other side, it's a completely different story. And sadly on Kil'jaeden, Alliance are sort of hunted like the rare pink-winged tooth fairy, meaning I'm probably going to get attacked quite a few times in this video, but that's fine. Now, what we're looking for, and what we're especially interested in, are the chests scattered around. There's a few useful add-ons, which kind of basically give you a map to use. So this add-on is Handy Notes with the plugin Handy Notes Timeless Isle chests. So I'll link both those in the description below. They're both available on Curse, and make this really, really simple. Literally, go to the markers on the map. Let's see, the nearest one is just around the corner. Bear in mind a few of these chests are a little different, and some have a higher chance to give you loot, which is obviously nice, but at the end of the day, if you loot them all, that's the highest chance. So you can see a little chest, simply loot it, and you have a chance to get loot. As you can see, you have a chance to get quite a variety of loot, some pieces which you can't use. Now, I got a leather piece on a warrior, and a rogue just stealthed nearby, and I thought I was going to die. But that's fine, he was nice. So, while it can be the most efficient way, it can also be incredibly random, which is incredibly annoying. Now, one thing to make sure that you do before you leave, because it's essentially guaranteed loot, is to hop on one of the pelicans flying around the island. Now, the best place to do this is from the Celestial Court. You hop on, you take the incredibly tedious journey around to the Ordos Sanctuary, and you hop off right where you see me in the video. You jump down, and there'll be a blazing chest in between the two huge fire elementals. That'll give you a Burden of Eternity, which will allow you to get one piece of 535 gear, giving you a little bit of an item level boost. Note that anything you do on the Timeless Isle, from looting chests to mining nodes, will get you timeless coins. Now, these coins, when accumulated, can boost your item level a little more. Now, you want to talk to Mistweaver Eye. She's to the left of Emperor Xiaohao, just on the Celestial Court. You can buy a few items there, mainly weapons and offhands, although it only seems to be shields and not actual offhands. You can also purchase Burdens of Eternity if you stick around long enough. Now, the last thing of interest here is that you can purchase Mogu Runes of Fate, which will give you a reroll in the Throne of Thunder looking for raid. So, kind of if buts and maybes here, but you can get a weapon, at the very least, for 10,000 or 20,000 for a two-hand. So, if you manage to get that many, there's another weapon. That's a 489 weapon. So, another little boost to your item level. So I'd recommend getting as many chests as you can over at the Timeless Isle to increase your chances of getting that 496 gear. Bear in mind that if you run out of chests, or you just happen across a few rares, the rares on the island have a chance to give you gear as well. So, I mean, you can keep farming the Timeless Isle and keep farming rares to try get that gear, or you can work towards something a little more definite. Now, to do that, you'll be working with Justice Points and Valor Points. Now, the easiest way to get both of these currencies at the same time is with Heroic Dungeons and Heroic Scenarios. Now, I'd recommend Heroic Dungeons, especially if you're on a random group, or don't have a group. Now, this is kind of the time where if you had a tank or healer friend, or if you were a tank or healer, really pays off, because those queues become so much shorter if you're not a DPS left on your own. So you get Justice Points for each boss kill in a Heroic Dungeon, and you get Valor Points for the end of a Heroic Dungeon up until the cap, which is 1k per week. So what you need to do with those points is come over to Townlong Steps at Nizhao Temple. Now it's marked by a little crown on the map, so it's really easy to find. You want to talk to the Quartermasters here, and you can buy 489 gear with your Justice Points. Now, bear in mind you can actually get some higher gear than this with Justice Points, but it requires you to do a very specific quest line. What you'll need to do is pick up the quest to find or talk to a scout in your shrine. That's Shrine of Two Moons or the Alliance variant. Now, down in Krasarang Wilds, you'll have a quest to storm the beach, essentially, down near Domination Point or Lion's Landing, depending on which faction you are. Now, from those Quartermasters, once you complete the initial quest, you'll be able to buy a trinket, belt, boots, and ring, I believe, which are 496. So, they may be worth doing, maybe not, depending on how much time you have. Now, the Valor Quartermaster here, you can buy 522 gear, but it requires Shadowpan Assault reputation, which the easiest way to grind is actually to go into the Looking for Raid Throne of Thunder. So, that requires 480. Timeless Isle should get you somewhere near that. If it doesn't, you can run a few heroics, pick up some 489 gear, and then go into Throne of Thunder. To do that, hit I, go to your raid finder, and you start with the last stand of the Zandalari. Now you got 4 raids there. What's really nice about this is that it gives you the rep to use your Valor on 522 gear, obviously increasing that threshold further to get to the 496 we need, but the raid also drops 502 gear. So it's kind of two hit. You can get the loot from the raid, if not you get the rep to buy it with Valor, which is really nice. So pretty much guaranteed loot somewhere along the line there, hopefully getting you to that 496 a lot easier. There's one last way to get gear that I want to talk about, and it involves Justice again, but it's a little different. So this middle Quartermaster sells 458 gear, which we're not overly interested in, but if you skip forward, he also sells honor points. Now effectively you can trade Justice to honor at a 2-to-1 ratio. You might think that's really bad, but the rate at which you can get Justice compared to the rate at which you can get honor is ridiculous, and this actually still beats it out, even with the changes to the battlegrounds. Now, if you'd prefer to PvP, that's cool, just go ahead, sign up for some battlegrounds, you might get the honor a bit faster if you constantly win anyways. But if you don't, and you just want the gear for PvE, it's actually still a really good conversion, because right now, we're in a little bit of a strange position, where the gear you can get from honor is a lot higher than the gear you can get from Justice. The gear you can currently get from honor is 522, and it's actually really potent for PvE. The only stuff which I wouldn't recommend buying is the trinkets. So what you need to do, you need to come to this NPC, and you need to buy your honor points for your Justice. You need quite a few, but we'll have a look at prices a little bit later. You can go back to Stormwind or Orgrimmar and talk to your Justice trades goods, and they'll have the same offer. Now what you need to do from there is find the Serpent Spine. Now this is the wall running all the way from Kung Lai, Vale and Valley into Dreadwastes and Townlong, this wall along here. Now for Horde, you'll find the Horde emblem just above Vale, and for Alliance you'll find it just below, right about here. So we need to head over to the Conquest and honor Quartermaster. It's a little busy over here, but if we find the vendor buried under all of these folks, can see exactly what I mean. Now, this is Grievous Gladiator's gear. It's all for honor, so there's no conquest grinding involved. You can't get a weapon unless you've earned honor points, so that's a little out of reach unless you've got the honor points required. but what you can get is pretty much every other slot. The only things that we're not overly interested in are things like the trinkets because of the PvP power. So, I mean, pretty much everything else is nice. A very nice substitute for Throne of Thunder gear specifically. A full set of this stuff will take you straight into Siege of Orgrimmar LFR, and maybe even into Flex, depending on who's running the Flex. So, there's quite a few ways in which you can gear up, quite a lot of them from Justice, but if you grind enough and get enough Justice points under your belt, or enough Honor points under your belt, you can actually go straight into a full set of 522, give or take. So it's pretty easy to get into Siege right now. But if you had any questions or queries about how you're going to gear up to get into raiding for Siege of Orgrimmar, and until we get the next expansion, just for the little end there, hope that answered your questions. If you have any more, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. But that's it for now. So thanks for watching, folks. Good luck and have fun, and as always, I will see you next time.